Am I the asshole for kicking my boyfriend out after he called me mentally unsound? So recently I've reconnected with an old friend, and while my boyfriend isn't thrilled about this, he hasn't said or done anything to stop me from hanging out with my friend until last night. Last night my boyfriend came around to my house and we were just hanging out, watching Netflix and having a few drinks and just talking. Everything was fine until he brought up my weekend plans. I had planned to meet up with my friend and catch up over lunch. I told my boyfriend this and instantly he went from happy and relaxed to annoyed. Me, what's wrong? You've gone all quiet, BF. I don't like that you're hanging out with friend. I think you should stay away from him since you can't make good decisions. Me, confused. What are you talking about, BF? Well, you just got your diagnosis and I think it's time you let me make all the decisions for you till you become normal. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia about a week ago and have never been considered unfit to make decisions, care for myself etc. Me being absolutely stunned at what he had just said, didn't say anything and just stared at him, so he carried on. BF. I mean, in my opinion you're not sane enough to decide what you want for dinner, let alone who you hang out with. So you should just leave all the big decisions to me since I know what's best for you. At this point I'm seeing red and can't believe what I'm hearing. I just glare at him and tell him in the calmest voice that I can muster that I am perfectly capable of taking care of myself and I have never been unwell to the point of hospitalization, extra care etc. Him hearing what I said but choosing to ignore me keeps going. You don't have my permission to meet up with friends, so tell him you're busy. I tell him again that I'm perfectly capable and he explodes and me telling me to shut up and he's appointing himself to be my caretaker and I need to listen to him. Me having enough, take his drink from his hand, pull him up off the couch and walk him to the door with him sputtering behind me that I'm acting crazy and need to calm down or he'll put me in a mental hospital. I open the door and turn to face him and tell him firmly that while I appreciate his concern and I don't need his permission or guidance to things, and tell him to leave. He leaves, still sputtering that I'm a crazy bitch and need to be sedated. Now all of today his friends and family have been blowing up my phone telling me that I'm overreacting and he's just trying to support me and I need to apologize to him for throwing him out. I'm starting to think that maybe I've majorly screwed up here and should have accepted his help rather than ask him to leave. So Reddit, am I the asshole? No, not the asshole. Your boyfriend is trying to use your diagnosis to influence your decisions and control your life. Your boyfriend is perpetuating stereotypes of mental illness, and using it against you. Please make sure he's not your emergency contact and someone you trust is assigned to take over your care if need be. Not the asshole. I'm acting crazy and need to calm down or he'll put me in a mental hospital. This is dangerous. Like holy hell, fuck that. That's a fucking threat. Not the asshole. Get away from this man as soon as possible. He is trying to take complete control of your life. There is nothing acceptable about anything he said with regards to your decision-making ability. If he was so concerned, he could have offered to join you. Trying to cut you off from the world is ridiculous. I mean, in my opinion you're not sane enough to decide what you want for dinner, let alone who you hang out with. So you should just leave all the big decisions to me since I know what's best for you. Is he a medical professional? No? Then his opinion means jack shit. Schizophrenia is an extremely stigmatized condition that there is very little public understanding of. I'd assume he is extremely ignorant of how the condition affects you, and instead of supplementing his ignorance with research and communication, he's gaslighting you. Good on you for standing up for yourself. I am deeply sorry that you've found yourself in this situation, and I hope you can find people who are more understanding of what you're going through. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This guy sounds like someone who would end up taking advantage of you, gaslighting you, and then giving sob stories to your friends and family to get them on his side. If he literally said that you're a crazy bitch and need to be sedated, then maybe he needs to be an ex-boyfriend now. He literally threatened to put you in a mental hospital? If he really cared about you, he would never say that, because so many of those places are still asylums and not actually beneficial for anyone who suffers from any mental illness. I would trust myself more if I was just schizophrenic instead of the cocktail of several mental disorders I have, tbh. I say that with the utmost sincerity. Not the asshole. Break up. Now. He is gaslighting you worse than anybody I've ever read on Reddit, and that's saying something. You kicked him out last night because your instincts kicked in. Your instincts were right. If his friends and family disagree, you can either tell them what he said or not, but don't listen to them. Break up now. I am assuming that you've been dating longer than a week, and that him wanting to make all your choices for you is new, so to suddenly start treating you different because of a diagnosis, that's the kind of crap that pisses me off, not the asshole. Not the asshole. He's using this as an excuse to be controlling. This is just his true colors showing. Trust your medical team. Trust your instincts. I think you're better off without him if this is how he is going to treat you. Info. Is this real? Is that actually what he said? Because it seems weird that all that would come out of nowhere like that. Like that's 0 to 100 in what seems like a few minutes. Something seems off to me. If I had to choose one person that embodies every single red flag possible, it would be your BF. Dump him, not the asshole. Not the asshole X1000. This is really classic abuse. If medical professionals have deemed you to not need hospitalization and to be fine at making your own decisions, which they definitely were because you weren't immediately committed to a mental health ward upon your diagnosis, then your boyfriend is wrong and his argument bases on nothing. But more importantly, cutting you away from your friends and trying to make you doubt your perception of reality is really abusive, even if you weren't mentally ill. It only happens that he has your diagnosis to use against you. Please stay separated. Not the asshole. 1,000,000 times over. Your mental health team will let you know when you need to have people assisting your decision-making or taking care of you. He doesn't have power of attorney, and threatening someone with a mental hospital if they don't do what you want them, or telling a grown person that you don't have permission to go to lunch with your friend? No, you are not the problem. Best thing you did was kick him out. Now do yourself a big favor and never let him back. He is being controlling and gaslighting you. He's using your mental health to try and control every aspect of your life. Hell, he's threatening to try and have you committed because you want to hang out with a male friend. He sounds awful and scary, manipulative. This is not someone you should be with. You need someone supportive who wants to help you through struggles and lift you up. Please reevaluate your relationship, because this sounds scary enough. You'll become an abusive relationship real fast. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You can't choose what you want for dinner? What's wrong with him? As if getting a diagnosis would change you somehow. You had schizophrenia before the diagnosis and were capable. How on earth did that change by a doctor's appointment? What the actual F? Hopefully this is a troll story. In the case that it's not, of course not the asshole. Just because there's something not quite ordinary going on in your brain doesn't mean you aren't emancipated anymore. And even if that would be the case, he can't simply decide for himself to be your guardian. You would get a professional one appointed by a court, or in some cases the guardianship would go to your parents, and they most certainly couldn't take every and any choice from you. We've got human rights, folks. Not the asshole. Don't let him back in. This is seriously disturbing behavior on his part. Saying that you need to be sedated even in jest when you have the diagnosis that you do is incredibly dangerous. Totally unacceptable. I would be clear with those texting exactly what he said and did and make it clear that he presents a very real danger to you. Trying to position himself as in control of your whole life because seeing an old friend makes you mentally unfit? No ma'am. Not only are you not the asshole, you've protected yourself from a would-be abuser. Not the asshole. Tell him you're blocking his number and never want to see him or speak to him ever again. Then block his number along with all those friends and family. GTFO fast. Move to a different address if you can. Maybe change your number and certainly don't let him know any of your new information. Set your social media to private. Make sure all your friends and family hear the story from you first in case he tries to contact them. Thank God you weren't living together. So sorry someone like this made their way into your life. There was a time when it was very common for women to be institutionalized by their husbands' brothers' fathers because they needed to be controlled and didn't know what was best for them. Sounds like this guy is trying to bring the old tradition back. You know what's best for yourself. He's not it. NTA. Your boyfriend just showed you his hand that he's controlling and toxic. He doesn't respect you, as demonstrated by Ali. He called you crazy and that he literally told you that you weren't able to take care of yourself. He even had the audacity to tell you that he doesn't give you permission to go out with a friend because he's helloid. Girl, that's a lot of red flags in one night. Info: did you have mental health concerns before you started dating him? Not the asshole. I have never said this on Reddit, but I cannot believe what I just read. The audacity of this jerk. You responded appropriately to everything here. The fact that you yanked his arrogance off the couch and walked him out is beyond perfection. Sounds like a made-up story. If not, not the asshole. Info: one doesn't just get diagnosed with schizo, then immediately bunker down with an old friend versus their so. Yeah, he's probably an asshole, but what isn't being said in this post? Does off the rail you cheat? Make rash decisions? Where did his comment come from? Not the asshole. Your boyfriend sounds like he is freaking out about your diagnosis, but his reaction is not okay and not normal. This conversation is emotionally abusive language. I say you didn't go far enough. He wouldn't just be out of my apartment. He would be out of my life. If any of this is true, you get a giant resounding not the asshole from me. I find it hard to believe that there exists a person on earth who could be that dismissive of their so. Not the asshole. Your ex-boyfriend is the one who, wait, I don't want to get banned. Suffice to say, it seems like he either A. was waiting for something to give him the chance to turn all controlling and take over your life. B. has some very weird and wrong assumptions about mental illnesses. C. just really doesn't want you to hang with this friend. Or D. some combination of all of the above. Please dump this guy. Not the asshole. If you want someone to help you, ask someone else who is better suited. To me, he sounds possessive and jealous over this new friend. I think you should leave him. Why does every post in this sub end with, and now all these people are blowing up my phone? Not the asshole. Judging by this and another comment you made, he sounds predatory. He singled you out based on your mental illness in hopes of controlling you. And honestly, it's not his family and friends' business. Screw 'em. How you can tell if someone is lying on AITA. All their friends blew up my phone. Maybe other group of friends are different, but I've never heard of a group of guys blowing up a girl's phone after a breakup just to harass her and change her mind. If you have, please comment and let me know, because to me it's a huge red flag for the post being a lie. Not the asshole. Holy SHT. This man is abusive and controlling. End it immediately. Not the asshole. Straight up manipulative behavior. Get out. Not the asshole, and he can go shove it. I work behavioral health. Schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder are a huge spectrum. It sounds like you are doing awesome on your own, and I'm sure with your recent diagnosis you will have started to talk about treatment for any symptoms you experience. What I will say is, depending on your symptoms, alcohol really isn't something you want to partake in too often. But, in moderation and you being mindful, it should be fine. Toss that boyfriend to the curb. You don't need his stigma bringing you down. What the fuck, not the asshole. Leave him. Absolutely not the asshole. Your boyfriend is the asshole, and a huge one at that, for saying you're mentally unfit just because you were recently diagnosed. And don't let him, his friends or his family gaslight you. He was not just trying to help, he was trying to control you and use your mental illness against you. Captain, there's an ship in the distance. But it's flying a red flag. My god, not the asshole. Yeah, schizophrenia sucks to be diagnosed with, but as long you're working to stabilize it, then you're fine. This does not give him permission to demand full control over your life. That's screwed up. Definitely not the asshole. Every single post on Reddit has friends of partners that take it upon themselves to text and phone up about their relationship and what they should do. I don't know anyone that has ever done this to anyone else. Is it an American thing to get so involved? This really does sound like a story, where one should first listen to both sides of it, because the way you describe it seems so clear-cut, I am tempted to believe it is not the complete truth. If you really have not embellished at all, major not the asshole, otherwise who knows. Not the asshole. boyfriend doesn't sound like he is respecting you or supporting you, but more like trying to own and control you. Instead of throwing around threats and ultimatums, if he was truly supportive, he would try and help with ways for you to manage your condition and live your life how you want. IOBVS don't know all the details of your health, but it's not like you're a child that needs looking after. If he's done this once, I'm sure he will do it again. Doesn't sound like he's thinking of apologizing anytime soon. NTA. He has handled your diagnosis in the completely wrong way. He is the asshole for going down the ultimatum route. TF, he's trying to support you. He's trying to control you and using your condition as a blanket to hide under. He's total. No doubt. I mean, in my opinion, you're not sane enough to decide what you want for dinner, let alone who you hang out with. So you should just leave all the big decisions to me, since I know what's best for you. This is absolute bullshit. Let him go. Never see him again. It's very serious red flags. Sputtering behind me that I'm acting crazy and need to calm down or he'll put me in a mental hospital. If he can say this, he can do many harmful acts. I'm seeing an emotionally unstable person. He might harm you physically. This is not safe at all. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He sounds controlling and terrifying. He is threatening you and trying to use your diagnosis to take over your life. Your instincts were right. Please listen to them and protect yourself from him. Just block his friends and family. You have every right to defend your boundaries. Run far from this asshole. He is not there to help you. He wants to control you. That was exceptionally abusive behavior that he just exhibited. Being with him will in no way help your managing of your illness. It will, however, make it loads worse and could put you in danger. This is 100% relationship ending. You are not safe with this person. Not the asshole. Please don't let this person stay in your life. It concerns me that you have to ask if you're the asshole. No, honestly, I am concerned. The fact that you didn't just look back at this interaction and say to yourself, wow, this man that I've been dating just acted in a completely unacceptable manner and tried to control me, means that you don't have enough faith in yourself or enough esteem. This is not the right guy for you. There was nothing wrong with your behavior and you need to end this relationship. Not the asshole. Get rid of this guy for your own safety. The end. Not the asshole. WTF. You had more restraint than I would've. Fuck people who think mental illness means you're some psycho who can't think for themselves. He has no legal standing to make any choices for you. You aren't married, he's not family, and you haven't been declared incapable of making your own decisions. He straight up outed himself as trying to control and abuse you because he thinks he can now. Fuck him, fuck those friends and block them all. You don't need people like that in your life. Whoa, he just skipped like every step of subtle manipulation and was like, I own you, fucking what? Not the asshole, and anyone who disagrees and calls you the asshole 100% got his side, which was probably, I don't know man. Ever since her diagnosis she's really gone off the rails. Last night I tried to talk to her about it and she threw me out. If it were me I'd put his ass on blast. Write out his exact quote and send it to whoever wants to come at you. And if they still do, then they're a dipshit who would let that slimy, I was gonna say eel, but that's too positive, parasite, feed off you instead of dealing with it themselves. Not the asshole. He's lucky he didn't get a nice smack in the face. Hold on you for getting him out of your house. That happened. Need to calm down or he'll put me in a mental hospital. If this happened to me I would try to get a restraining order.